Imagine being called not to be celebrated, but to be shamed, right in front of a crowd that never saw you. That's exactly what happened to Lena, a quiet custodian who had long blended into the walls off the towering corporate plaza where she spent most of her days, invisible, overlooked as if she were just another fixture in that cold, gleaming skyscraper. Then, one afternoon, an envelope came an invitation to the grand wedding of the company's president and the most condescending woman Lena had ever crossed paths with. It felt bizarre, out of place, unreal. But what Lena didn't realize was that this ivory card wasn't a gesture of goodwill. It was a setup, a cruel prank hidden behind gold embossed letters. Life, though, it doesn't always stick to the script. And at that wedding, the one they expected to be the joke of the evening, walked in with the poise of royalty. She stunned them all. What unfolded next? No one could have predicted. Have you ever experienced something like this? Let us know in the comments and where you're watching from. The sharp rhythm of heels echoed across the marble lobby, shining so flawlessly it mirrored the giant chandeliers above. Sleek black cars glided in and out of the executive driveway. Inside, luxury wasn't just a feature, it was a way of life, worn proudly like a badge. Employees moved with purpose, heads down, fingers flying across phone screens, briefcases swinging, voices pitching million-dollar dreams. Everyone had a place in this world. Everyone, except her, Lena, age 42, in rubber gloves worn thin by years of use, quietly steering her cleaning cart through the chaos. Chin low, back straight. Her hands spoke of labor, out of days lost to sacrifice, out of nights survived in silence. She knew every inch of that building, every handprint, every coffee stain, every locked door. And more than that, she knew every truth whispered behind those glass panels. Because when people think you're invisible, they speak freely. But there was one person who always made sure Lena remembered her status. Camille Lawrence, wife of the firm's CEO, young, striking, dripping in wealth and venom. Camille strutted through the corridors like she didn't just run the place, but owned every soul inside it. Always in towering heels, her lipstick immaculate, her smile razor-sharp. Watch where you mop, Lena, Camille once spat with a toss of her golden curls. This floor is worth more than your whole existence. Lena bit her tongue. She always did. Dignity wouldn't pay the rent, and humility wouldn't keep the lights on. But today, something in Camille's eyes was different, colder, meaner, almost hungry. From across the atrium, Lena spotted her approaching, surrounded by her usual clique of polished vipers. In one hand, Camille held a small, pale box, her heels striking the floor with theatrical flair. Like so many times before, Lena quietly stepped to the side, eyes down, body invisible. But what she didn't know was that this was not just another passing insult. This was the moment everything would change. Well, Camille purred, folding her arms, her grin as fake as the diamonds in her ears. Look who decided to show up. Her entourage exchanged glances, barely holding in their laughter. Lena kept her eyes down, but her fingers curled tighter around the rag she was holding. She knew this routine. Whenever Camille approached with that theatrical stride, nothing good ever came next. Well, haven't seen you around lately, Lena, Camille cooed, her voice dripping with sugar and spite, tapping perfectly manicured nails on a thick envelope. Been hiding from me? She smirked. I've got something for you today. A little surprise. With a slow flourish, Camille pulled the envelope from the box in her hand. Cream-colored, embossed, sealed in shimmering gold foil. It looked expensive, exclusive, the kind of invitation that never reached someone like Lena. Lena's eyes narrowed. Something in her gut twisted. This wasn't generosity. It was performance. And Camille was playing to her audience. She cast a smug glance toward her friends, her grin widening like a predator playing with its prey. Then she extended the envelope, holding it out like a royal decree. Here you go, Camille said. It's an invitation. Tobias and I are tying the knot this Saturday at the Westbridge Manor estate. She stretched every word, milking each syllable with theatrical cruelty. And guess what? You're invited. A few of Camille's friends coughed to stifle laughs. One actually snorted. I mean, Camille added, winking at them, not everyone gets a seat at a wedding like this, right, ladies? Lena froze. The words processed slowly, each one sinking like a stone. A wedding invitation to their wedding. She looked at the envelope, then up, straight into Camille's eyes. And in that moment, she saw it. The truth. This wasn't a gesture of goodwill. It was a blade dressed in velvet. A public spectacle waiting to happen. A joke. And she was the punchline. Oh, and wear whatever you like, sweetheart, Camille added, smiling wider as she gestured toward Lena's uniform. Just try not to show up in that, she said, her voice honeyed and cruel. Wouldn't want the staff thinking you're one of them. That's when the laughter erupted. One of the girls chimed in. Maybe she can help tidy up after the champagne's gone. Another burst of giggles. Lena didn't blink. Her grip tightened around the envelope until her knuckles paled. Her cheeks flushed, her chest heavy, but she didn't look away, didn't flinch. In a steady voice, barely above a whisper, she said, "Thank you." Camille blinked, surprised. "Oh," she mocked. She said, "Thank you. Girls, how charming." But Lena was already walking away. Back to her cart, back to her world, clutching the envelope like it might shatter. And deep inside her, something moved. It wasn't rage. It wasn't sorrow. It was deeper, older, wiser. Lena looked down at the thick card in her hand. The gold lettering shimmered beneath the overhead lights. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Camille Lawrence and Tobias Reed, Saturday, 5:00 p.m., Westbridge Manor Estate. Black tie, the audacity to ask if she, a janitor, owned anything remotely suited to such a gathering. Ask if she belonged. She knew what this was, not a kind gesture, not a welcome, but a trap. A staged, a well-dressed ambush, with her as the evening's joke, gift-wrapped in golden cruelty. The Westbridge Manor Estate wasn't just any venue. It was the venue, the crown jewel of elite celebrations. The place so exclusive people like Lena wouldn't even be allowed to deliver flowers there, let alone attend as a guest. Up on the balcony of the second floor, Camille sipped her champagne, eyes scanning the grand entrance below like a hawk circling its prey. You think she'll actually show? One of her friends whispered, biting her lip to suppress a grin. Camille chuckled. If she does, that'll be the highlight of my night. She twirled the stem of her glass between two manicured fingers. Can't wait to see the look on everyone's face when Tobias' little cleaning lady walks in like she thinks she belongs. She took a long sip, smirking into the bubbles. Honestly, I wonder if she even knows what black tie means. Below, Lena stood still, the envelope still in her hand. A storm swirled behind her eyes. Humiliation, shame, rage, but also something deeper, older, hotter, fire, the kind she hadn't felt in years. For a split second, she thought about tearing it apart, ripping the thing to pieces, dumping it in the trash, pretending it never existed. But then, she caught her own reflection in the glass panel beside the lobby door. She saw the lines etched into her face, her faded work uniform, the calluses that told her story, better than any words. And that's when the truth hit her. They think I'm no one, they think I'm less than a shadow. Her jaw tightened, her grip locked around the envelope, and softly, to the woman staring back from the glass, she whispered, maybe it's time I remind them who the hell I really am. 3 flights of stairs later, Lena finally reached her tiny apartment. The elevator had been broken for weeks, and today, each step had felt like dragging a mountain. She opened the door. The scent hit her instantly. Vanilla candles, mixed with old coffee. It was a smell that used to comfort her. Now it broke her. She dropped her bag on the sagging couch and sat on the edge of her bed. Then, for the first time since receiving that invitation, she cried. Cried hard. Cried everything. The years of being overlooked. The way they laughed. The way they looked through her. The way they made her feel invisible. She looked down at the card still in her hand, tracing the gold letters with her finger like she could erase them. But the words didn't vanish, and neither did the weight they carried. That if I go, they'll laugh, just like they planned. But if I don't, it's like I agree with them, like I'm admitting I don't belong. Her eyes drifted to the crooked picture frame hanging on the cracked wall, a faded photo of her mother, simple dress, bright eyes, that unshakable smile. A woman who once told her, dignity isn't given or taken, it's carried, especially when no one else sees it. And suddenly, a memory burst forward. One she had buried deep, a chapter she had vowed never to reopen. Because Lena hadn't always been a janitor. With trembling hands, she pulled a small wooden box from beneath the bed. Her fingers brushed over the lid like she was waking something sacred. She opened it. Inside, old photographs. Not from this life. From another Lena. Confident, smiling, wearing tailored clothes. Posing at charity events, her arm around community leaders. Tucked at the bottom, a certificate. The edges were worn, but the name was clear. Lena Minsa, founder and executive director of the Minsa Foundation. She stared at her own signature, her hand trembling over it, a forgotten life suddenly burning in her hands. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. That woman in the photos, that used to be her. Lena had once lived a life built on purpose, on pride, on legacy. Her father had been a successful businessman, a force within the local Black community that he launched ventures that uplifted entire neighborhoods. Education hubs, career mentorship programs, legal support clinics. Her mother had been an educator, respected, wise, a quiet symbol of grace and strength. Lena grew up in a home where identity wasn't a burden. It was a foundation. She graduated from Fulton University, then went on to create the Minsa Initiative, a nonprofit that opened doors for young people. Scholarships, internships, entrepreneurship. Her name once meant something, until everything shattered, not by her doing, but by betrayal. Someone she trusted, someone she loved like family. They had stolen from the foundation, used her name, her signature, and when the dust settled, the scandal carried her name, not theirs. Lawsuits, bank accounts drained, her reputation in ashes, and then, as if fate hadn't taken enough, she lost both her parents. Within months, her world collapsed. She lost it all: her house, her car, her title, her future. All that remained was the instinct to survive. And survival, sometimes, meant disappearing, becoming small, unseen, invisible. But now, staring at the life she had buried, something inside Lena lit up. They think I'm just a janitor, a woman with tired hands and a cheap uniform. But they have no idea who I truly am. Her gaze sharpened, her spine straightened. At the bottom of the wooden box, a folded letter. She knew that handwriting. Helena, her best friend from the old days, a fashion designer, a rising legend. She'd moved to Atlanta years ago, but she'd always told Lena, if you ever need me, just call. Doesn't matter when. I'll be there. Lena stared at her phone. Her thumb hovered over the name. Her chest pounded. Then, she pressed call. Point one ring. Point two, then, hello. A familiar voice, shocked, breathless. Lena? Oh my God, is that really you? She closed her eyes. It's me, Helena, she whispered, voice breaking. I need you. And I think it's time the world remembers who I really am. The very next morning, a sleek black SUV pulled up in front of Lena's building. The back door opened, and Helena stepped out. Poised, powerful, magnetic, oversized sunglasses, tailored gray suit, heels that didn't just click. They announced her. She spotted Lena on the front steps, and for a moment, her expression melted into awe. Oh my God, that you're really here. Then came the smile. Warm, wide, home. I do, Helena said, pulling Lena into a hug that felt like it was stitching her soul back together. Lena held on tight. Her voice cracked. I didn't know who else to call. I need help. And I think I'm ready to stop hiding. Helena leaned back, her hands on both sides of Lena's face. Her voice dropped, but every syllable struck like steel. No, Lena, you didn't call for help. You called for a reminder of exactly who the hell you are, and I got you. Inside Lena's small apartment, they laid everything out on the table: photos, documents, memories like maps of a war zone. Helena pulled out her sketchbook, opened it, clicked her pen. All right, she said, eyes gleaming. Tell me, when you walk through those doors, how do you want them to see you? Lena didn't hesitate. I want them to see the woman they tried to erase and failed. Helena's smile grew, slow, proud. She opened her tablet, started sketching like a woman possessed: structured shoulders, strong lines, a silhouette that didn't whisper. It commanded: no sequins, no flash. Just power, just presence. Helena, I don't have the money, Lena began. But Helena lifted one hand and shut it down. Lena, don't insult me. This isn't about money. I do this because women like you didn't bow. Not to anyone. Not ever. Lena stepped onto the ivory carpet like it was her personal runway. Every movement was precise, intentional, royal. Her gown followed behind her like smoke trails from a slow-burning fire. The chatter vanished. Only the sound of her heels clicking in rhythm against marble floors, and the whispers, though. The whispers. "Who is she?" Someone gasped. "Is she famous?" Another voice murmured. Tobias, the CEO, had been glued to his phone. Until now. His head lifted, his eyes fixed, and for the first time that day he looked like he'd seen a vision. His lips parted, his posture stiffened, as if gravity itself had shifted and begun to orbit around her. Camille felt it instantly. Her skin prickled, her chest tightened 2 steps backward, clutching her bouquet like a lifeline. "No, no, no. This can't be happening," she whispered, her voice barely air. Panic bloomed behind her perfect smile. But Lena? Lena didn't blink, didn't look around, didn't seek validation. She walked like a queen reclaiming her throne, because that's exactly what this was. By the time she reached the center, every guest had turned. Phones raised, flashes burst, people leaned in, elbowing each other, whispering names, trying to guess who this stunning woman could possibly be. Camille, trembling, gathered her nerves and marched forward. Her smile was warped, somewhere between a smirk and a plea. "Wow. What a surprise seeing you here," she said, her tone sweetened with venom. "You really went all out, huh?" Lena tilted her head slightly. The faintest glimmer of a smile slipped across her lips. "Yet I did." Her eyes locked on Camille, unblinking, sharp as cut glass. "And judging by you, looks like you dressed up too." A pause. Shame. All that money still can't buy class. A wave of gasps rolled through the crowd. Some laughed, some froze, some just gawked, mouths half open, unsure if this moment was real. Camille's face flushed crimson. Her fingers gripped the bouquet tighter. She scanned the crowd, desperate, trapped. "What is she doing here?" she hissed to one of her friends. "Who does she think she is?" Before the friend could answer, a man stepped forward, older, silver-haired, dressed in navy and silk. He stared at Lena, squinting, studying. Then his eyes widened. He covered his mouth with one hand. "Wait, is that Lena Mensa?" he asked, his voice cracking in disbelief. The entire venue fell into silence. Pure, absolute silence. Lena turned to face him, slow, regal, her voice smooth, her presence unshaken. "Yes," she said. "I am Lena Mensa." The man took a step back, staggering slightly. I worked with your father," he stammered. "At the Mensa Initiative. You were the face of it, the one who built everything." "Where have you been?" Gasps burst across the courtyard. "Mensa Initiative, that's her? No way. It can't be." Camille's knees buckled slightly. She steadied herself. Her breath grew short, hands trembling, because suddenly, the cruel little plan wasn't a joke anymore. It was a disaster. She hadn't just tried to embarrass a janitor. She had tried to humiliate a legend, a name that carried more weight than anyone else at that entire wedding. Camille backed away slowly, face pale, lips trembling. "This isn't possible," she whispered to herself. But it was, and now, everyone knew. The same people who had laughed earlier now looked devastated, embarrassed, ashamed. The older gentleman stepped forward again, grasping Lena's hand with both of his voice cracked with emotion. "Your father was a pillar of this city, and your mother. God, what a woman. I had no idea what had happened to you." Lena squeezed his hand softly. "Life took me places I never expected," she said gently. "But the one thing it never took from you is who I am." From beside Camille, Tobias watched everything unfold. His expression had shifted, brows drawn, jaw tight. He turned to his wife. "Camille, what exactly was this?" His voice was low, controlled, but dangerous. Camille's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. Her eyes scanned the crowd, panicked. It was just a joke," she stammered. "A harmless joke, that's all." Tobias's face hardened. "A joke? You humiliated a woman who's done more for this city than half the guests at this damn wedding." Camille's hands trembled. "No, Brandon, you don't understand," But the words collapsed in her throat. Lena stepped forward. Her voice wasn't loud, but it commanded. "Don't worry that I didn't come here for revenge." She turned her gaze to Camille, sharp as cut crystal. I didn't come to ruin anyone's day, that I came to remind you, remind all of you, that dignity is about money, that it isn't about status, it's about who you are when no one's watching. Silence, stillness, then a single clap, another, then another, until the entire garden erupted in applause. Some stood, some wiped away tears, and Camille, she couldn't take it. Her face contorted, her chest heaved, she shoved through the crowd, her bouquet falling to the marble like a confession, and she ran, out of the garden, out of sight, swallowed by the shame she meant for someone else. Lena stood still, closed her eyes, breathed deeply. Because today, she didn't just show up at a wedding. She showed up. The applause rippled around her. Lena took in the scene. All the eyes that once looked through her, now looked at her. And in them, she saw something they had never given her before. Respect, recognition. Tobias stood frozen, his phone forgotten in his hand, that he looked at her, genuine disbelief on his face. Lena, I had no idea. If I'd known. I swear. She lifted a hand, calm, graceful. No need, she said softly. But firmly, that I didn't come for apologies, that I didn't come to make anyone feel small. She turned, eyes sweeping the entire crowd. I came for me, and maybe, to remind some of you, that the people you overlook, the ones you treat as invisible, are carrying stories you couldn't even begin to imagine. Tobias lowered his head, speechless. The weight of her words didn't hang in the air. It sank into it. All around, guests shifted uncomfortably. Some turned their heads toward the waiters, the janitorial crew, the drivers, the security guards, people they hadn't even seen when they walked in. People like Lena once was, and one by one, their expressions began to change. Then, one by one, guests began stepping forward. Some were faces from her past. Others were strangers, but strangers with open hearts. If you ever bring back the Mensa initiative, I want in, said a suited businessman, eyes wide with admiration. Me too, a woman added softly. Your family's legacy changed lives. We won't let it disappear. Lena smiled, the soft, grateful curve of her lips. She blinked away terses. She glanced up toward the sky, as if her parents were watching. Maybe it's time, she whispered. As she turned to leave, the crowd gently parted. But not because she was out of place. Not because she didn't belong. This time, they made room for her. For a queen. At the edge of the venue, leaning against the sleek black car, stood Helena. Arms crossed, head tilted. A knowing grin stretched across her face. So, she smirked. Was it enough? Lena looked back once more. At the chandeliers, the curated flowers, the polished marble that used to make her feel small. She took a breath, a deep one. A breath that sounded like freedom. No, she said. It's not enough. This is just the beginning. Helena laughed, grinned wide, and grabbed her hand with pride. Damn right, she said. Let's go build something so big no one will ever dare forget your name again. As the car pulled away, the sky behind them burned gold, like it was celebrating her return. Lena stared out the window, watching the city pass. And in the reflection, she didn't see a janitor. She didn't see a woman who had fallen. Or someone forgotten. She saw a woman who wore her crown without ever needing permission to claim it. If you believe in stories that inspire, challenge, and give voice to those too often overlooked, hit that subscribe button below. More powerful journeys are coming, and we'd be honored to have you with us.